YouTube, it's me, Kevin. In the last video, we talked about the inside of the washout booth, and today I'm gonna show you how to upgrade the outside of your washout booth. So, let's do it. The first thing I want to talk about is the fact that the washout booth takes up a little bit of real estate, so it needs to serve a multi-purpose as well, I believe. So that it's not just sitting there waiting to wash screens. The top is the first thing I want to talk about, because the top I feel like gets neglected completely. It's just an open space that nobody deals with. So I took advantage of the wasted space on top, and I got a 2x4 and a piece of plywood and made the most out of it. So what I did with this 2x4 is I cut a groove out so that the top of my washout booth can go in it. I cut it 1.5 inches up so that half of it's still usable, and it picks it 1.5 inches up off of my washout booth. I'll explain why in a minute. I also left an inch overhang so that I can screw the board to the washout booth as well. This runs the length. I did the exact same thing on the other side. And I have hooks in various places, and they serve their own purpose. One's to hold my air hose, the other is my degreaser, my mask in the middle, and my ink remover, as well as some spatulas. The mask in the middle, not only does it look cool when it's just sitting here doing nothing, but it forces me to either move the mask or put it on. And I definitely need to put it on. If you're not using a mask, do yourself a favor and use a mask. Now that you have the 2x4 installed, you're going to get a piece of plywood and run it the length of your washout booth. And if you measure from this end all the way to this end, it will end up 1 inch shy, and that's because we picked it up 1.5 inches here and created a slope. And that slope will leave you with a gap that will go back into the washout booth. This is important because if you use your shelf that you just created for chemicals or liquids, it will force the liquids, if it ever was to have a leak of any sort, back into the washout booth and not on the floor. I use the top of my shelf for my pressure washer, and it has water connected to it, obviously, so that if I ever have a leak, and I have, it falls down into the washout booth through that little gap. I also mounted my pressure washer with a little bracket so that as this vibrates, it won't try to fall off or knock anything else off. But I use my top shelf to hold screens. That's why I have other pieces of plywood standing upright. Now, if you don't have a pocket jig like I do, you can just go buy these little brackets at Walmart. They're pretty cheap, and you can just mount them. This kind of holds dirty screens that need to be washed, or it will hold clean screens that just need to be degreased and dried. So the top of your washout booth is a great spot for storage, and I highly recommend doing this step to your washout booth. Here I am at the bottom of my washout booth, and what I have is a cabinet that holds my chemicals. It's kind of important to me personally because I have a lock on here, and the reason for that is I have kids that run through here, and as much as I try to keep them out of the office, kids will be kids. So with that said, this gives me a peace of mind that even if they are in here, this is one less thing that I have to worry about them getting hurt. I also have this neat little, let me spin you a little bit. EMT bracket. It is an 1.5 inch bracket that you can get at like a hardware store, Lowe's, Home Depot. This is designed to hold conduit for electricity, and what it does is holds ever so perfectly my pressure washer wand. So if anything, that is slick. So, I hope that helped you out. That's what I do to maximize the real estate that this washout booth is taking up in my space. So, if you were looking for a way to upgrade the outside of your washout booth, maybe that gave you a couple of ideas. I want to take a second to thank all the subscribers, the comments, and the likes. They are not going unnoticed. I can promise you that. It blows me away that anybody even cares to watch anything that I created. So a special thank you to everybody. There's one more video on the washout booth, so stick around. Thank you once again to everybody. Until next time, peace!